cells greeted her. Like all revolutionary outposts, Hightower had been built to accommodate prisoners, Imperial aggressors, counter-revolutionaries, bandit outlaws, and even the occasional vagrant. Unlike most revolutionary outposts, Hightower was far away from any battleground in the Scar and didn't see much use for its cells. Any captive outlaw tended to be executed in fairly short order for crimes against the revolution, as the civilians tended to become restless without the entertainment. In all her time stationed at Hightower, Tretta had visited the prison exactly twice, including today. The first time had been to offer an Imperium spy posing as a bandit clemency in exchange for information. 30 minutes later, she put him in front of the firing squad. Up until then, he'd been the longest-serving captive in Hightower. Thus far, her current prisoner had broken the record by 2 days. The interrogation room lay at the very end of the row of cells, an iron door flanked by 2 guards. Both fired off a salute as they pulled open the door, its hinges groaning. 20 feet by 20 feet, possessed of nothing more than a table with 2 chairs and a narrow slit of window by which to catch a beam of light. The interrogation room was little more than a slightly larger cell with a slightly nicer door. The window, set high up near the ceiling, afforded no ventilation, and the room was stifling hot. Not that you'd know it from looking at the prisoner. A woman, perhaps in her late 20s, Tretta suspected, sat at one end of the table, dressed in dirty trousers and boots to match, the sleeves and hem of her white shirt cut to bear the tattoos racing down her forearms and most of the great scar that wended its way from her collarbone down to her belly. It was a sort of garish garb you'd expect to find on a vagrant. Her hair, imperial white, was shorn roughly on the sides and tied back in an unruly tail. And despite the suffocating heat, she was calm, serene, and pale as ice. There was nothing about this woman that Tretta didn't despise. She didn't look up as a governor militant entered, paid no heed to the pair of armed men trailing behind her. Her hands, manacled together, rested patiently atop the table. Even when Tretta took a seat across from her, she hardly seemed to notice. The prisoner's eyes, pale and as blue as shallow water, seemed to be looking somewhere else. Her face, thin and sharp, and marred by a long scar over her right eye, seemed unperturbed by her imminent, gruesome death. That galled Tretta more than she would ever have liked to admit. The governor militant leaned forward, steepling her fingers in front of her, giving the woman a chance to realise what a world of shit she was in. But after a minute of silence, she merely held out one hand. A sheaf of papers appeared there a moment later, thrust forward by one of her guards. She laid it out before her and idly flipped through it. "I won't tell you that you can save yourself," she said after a time. "An officer of the revolution speaks only truths." She glanced up at the woman, who did not react. "Within 6 hours, you'll be executed for crimes against the glorious revolution of the Fist and Flame. Nothing you can say will change this fact. You deserve to die for your crimes." She narrowed her eyes. "And you will." The woman at last reacted. Her manacles rattled a little as she reached up and scratched at the scars on her face. Tretta sneered and continued. "What you can change," she said, "is how quickly it goes. The revolution is not beyond mercy." She flipped to a page, held it up before her. In exchange for information regarding the events of the week of Massen's 11th through 20th, up to and including the massacre of the township of Stark's Mutter, the destruction of the freehold of Lowstaff, and the disappearance of Revolutionary Low Sergeant Caverick Proud, I am willing to guarantee on behalf of the cadre a swift and humane death. She set the papers aside, leaned forward. The woman stared just to the left of Tretta's gaze. "A lot of people are dead because of you," Tretta said. "One of our soldiers is missing."